Yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. So today's class is gonna be fun learning, right? So we usually sit down and you guys have to just listen to all the boring stuff I have to say, but this time you get to participate. And so what we're doing today is real estate transaction trivia. And I'm gonna ask questions and you can raise your hand. If you get the correct answer, you guys get a treat. And if nobody raises their hand, then I'll start going through the room and asking questions. So hopefully, no, it's not just one person dominating, but if they answer, they can get all the candy. So I brought questions, and I brought extra questions, bonus questions in case, we're not doing points. It's just, I guess, who collects the most candies. So let me shuffle the questions here. Are you guys at home ready? Michael, Harry, you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask here.
Oh.
And I'm gonna ask everybody here, and then the next question, I'll go to Zoom. And if you guys don't answer, then I'll bring it back to them to answer. So the first question is gonna be for here. So this is a true or false question. A buyer can remove contingencies verbally, true or false? Anybody? No hands? Anybody have a hand? False? Yes. A buyer cannot remove contingencies verbally. Everything has to be in writing in real estate, so keep that in mind. So. I'll just let you reach in and grab one for yourself. So go ahead and grab one. Okay. All right, next question. Just in time, Sonia, come on in. So, okay, remember, raise your hand. Who is responsible for providing the natural hazard disclosure report? The seller. The seller, yes. Go ahead and grab a treat. I don't like candy. You can give it away. All right, this is a true or false question. Oh, sorry, the next one is for Zoom. Michael and Harriet. True or false? Close of escrow can be extended automatically if the lender is delayed.
True.
No, false.
False.
False. No, the buyer and the seller both have to. Okay, wait, so the buyer and seller both have to agree to extend it. It can't just be extended because the lender failed to do their job. All right. Back to the conference room here. Multiple choice, everybody. Lead-based paint disclosure is required for homes built before, this is multiple choice, 1960, 1978, 1985, or 1990? Anyone?
1978.
78, yep, grab a candy. Okay. This is also multiple choice. I'll give it to you guys on Zoom here. So Michael and Harriet. The earnest money deposit is typically due A, immediately upon signing the offer, or B, within 3 business days after acceptance, C, at the inspection period, or D, within 3 calendar days after acceptance.
B.
B.
B is within 3 business days of acceptance. Yes. Do you guys want to give your candy winnings to anybody here?
I'll give mine to Zach.
All right, Zach.
But he doesn't like candy though.
He doesn't like candy. Thank you, Harriet. All right.
You're welcome.
Let's see. This is just a regular question here. A seller wants to stay in the home for 7 days after escrow closes. What form is required? This is a tough one. Do you guys know on Zoom? A seller wants to stay in the home for 7 days after close of escrow. What form is required?
Lease app.
I'm going with lease back too.
A lease, yeah, a lease application, right?
No, it's a seller in possession.
Oh.
All right, so no candy. I should start taking candy back. Okay. Next question. A buyer asks you to show them 2 homes this weekend. Before you could show any properties, which form must they sign? Zach?
Buyer's representation.
Yes. Good. Multiple choice.
I challenge that one. It could also be the PSRA, the property showing, if it's only an individual.
Okay. Okay. Well, either answer would have been good.
Cool.
So you get a candy too, Mike. All right, multiple choice. In California, who typically pays for the owner's title insurance policy? The buyer, the seller, it's split 50-50, or the escrow company? Who typically pays for the owner's title insurance? Yes, self. Good job. Okay. This is for everybody. Who orders the appraisal?
Buyer's.
Who orders the appraisal?
The listing agent.
No.
The lender.
Yes. Good job. The lender orders the appraisal. You see, this is learning too, right? Because we don't know the answer. We will after this. Okay. When does the buyer typically get possession of the property?
After the final walkthrough.
Close of escrow.
Close of escrow.
After recording.
Yeah, but recording is close of escrow.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Okay. What are a buyer's options if the appraisal comes in lower than the purchase price? Give me one option.
Renegotiate. Oh, sorry.
That's one answer. Yeah, good job. Other answers are pay the difference. So if you offer $1.2 million and it appraises for $1 million, the lender's not going to lend on $1.2 million, so the buyer would have to come in with the extra $200,000 cash. Or the other option is cancel. So, 3 options there. What document officially transfers ownership to the seller, from the seller to the buyer?
Grant deed.
Good job. Raise your hand, man.
Oh.
All right, go ahead, get a candy. You're piling them up there. All right, I guess if you guys just want to answer this, whoever answers first is fine. Okay, what is the purpose of the final walkthrough?
Make sure everything was the same as when you looked at it at the beginning.
Yes, and
Make sure there's
Completion
no.
of
No squires.
completion of request for repairs.
yes, and to make sure that any repairs that were requested were completed. Go ahead. All right, this is a true or false question. A seller must disclose if a death occurred on the property within the past 3 years. True or false? True. Go for it, Zach. By default, how many days does a buyer have to complete inspections after acceptance? This is by the default language of the purchase contract.
17.
Good job. Go ahead. You said 17, right? You didn't say 7, you said 17?
I said 17.
Did you say 7 or 17? Okay, so it's 17.
Yeah.
Okay, and the contract, the default period is 17 days for all contingencies. All right. Let's see. What disclosure must be given for nearly all 1 to 4 unit residential sales in California? Which disclosure?
Agency.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Transfer disclosure statement.
I mean,
I'm good.
Take them all here.
Take a bag.
Okay. Name 2 contingencies that are automatically included. No, this is wrong. I'm gonna ask this two different ways. Because I wrote it, but then I corrected it, but I corrected it wrong, so I'm gonna ask two different questions. This gives me two questions. Which two contingencies are automatically removed with a cash offer?
Well, there's a loan.
That's one.
Appraisal?
Appraisal, correct. Now. Name two contingencies that, name only two contingencies that are included. I guess that's two of them there, right? So that would be like another version of asking the question. Two contingencies that are included when submitting the RPA. And again, that was the appraisal, the loan contingency, inspection contingency. So those are a couple of different ones. What is the standard form used to make an offer on a residential property in California? This is
The RPA.
yes, pretty easy, right? They're not trick questions. They're good job. Go for it. All right, so that anybody can answer this here. What is the name of the notice a seller can issue to the buyer to enforce the close of escrow date? What is the name of the notice a seller can issue a buyer to enforce the close of escrow date?
Notice to perform.
Notice to perform.
No.
Oh.
You guys remember that the chart that we had of the timeline, and then at the end, there's a notice that could be issued?
Contingency.
Okay, I'm gonna give this one to you. It's demand to close escrow.
Oh, demand.
Yeah. Okay. We have one more person coming in, let me let her come. What? We were waiting for you. Yeah. Huh? No, 10 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Have a seat over there. Okay, next question is, during escrow, the buyer discovers a lien on the property. Who is responsible for clearing the lien?
Escrow.
Seller.
Good job, Harriet, the seller. Seller's responsible for clearing any liens, and that comes out of the seller's proceeds, so it'll be paid off out of the seller's proceeds. This one's multiple choice. So do you know what we're doing here? It's like a trivia.
Right.
So this is multiple choice. If the buyer does not have a loan contingency and cannot get financing, what happens to the earnest money deposit?
They lose it. They understand that.
She had it right. They forfeited the deposit to the seller. Up to 3%. Okay. A buyer removes all contingencies and then backs out of the deal. What typically happens to the earnest money deposit?
Seller keeps.
Can you repeat that?
A buyer removes all contingencies and then backs out of the deal. They cancel. What typically happens to the earnest money deposit? It's the same question. Just ask them.
You're right.
Come on. Come on in.
I need to bring a chair, right?
Yes. I'm running out of questions here. I think I've made some extra ones this morning.
Thanks.
All right, this next question is for Carrie.
Sorry about that.
All right, Carrie, this question is for you.
No.
Who- I'm kidding, it's for everyone. But if you raise your hand and you answer, you get a candy, so.
Okay.
So true or false? Is it okay to enter a listing into the MLS today without having the listing agreement signed if you know for a fact that the seller is gonna sign it within the next few days. Is that true or false?
False.
Why?
Because you don't have the signature, you don't have an agreement.
So you cannot enter a listing into the MLS without having a listing contract signed. There's some agents that think, I'll upload it today, they're out of town, sellers are out of town, they're gonna sign it as soon as they come in. You can't do that. If someone finds out and turns you in, you get fined for it. So you cannot submit a listing to the MLS without having a signed listing contract. All right, true or false? If a seller accepts a backup offer, they are required to cancel the first escrow. True or false?
False,
False.
Why?
because they already agreed to the first one.
Yeah. So when a seller accepts a backup offer, they accept the backup offer, but only if the first escrow fails and cancels. Then that one goes in escrow, but the seller can't cancel the first one because they like the second offer better or the backup offer better. And it's difficult for the seller to back out of a contract, right? You guys remember why?
So they can't, because it's up to the buyer for the first 17 days, right? So contingencies.
Yeah, and then, so you're stuck, the seller's stuck in escrow until what?
So they send a notice to the buyer.
Notice to perform,
Yeah, notice.
and the buyer doesn't perform. Yeah, you guys remember that? That's the only way out, or the demand to close escrow. And if the buyer doesn't perform, then the seller can cancel. But the buyer can cancel for any reason.
For the first 17
For the
days.
first, well, no, it could be longer. If they don't remove contingencies, it could be the 25th day or the 30th day. If they don't remove contingencies, they can cancel. Yeah. So the buyer's like sitting pretty there. All right, escrow can close, oh, this is a true or false question. Escrow can close if the loan documents have not yet been recorded. Can escrow close? No, false. So the loan docs have to be recorded in order for escrow to close. When is the beginning date on the listing agreement? I need a hand for this one, because, no,
The last recorded signature, the last signature.
no. Anybody on Zoom?
When all parties sign,
No, we've talked about this a lot, but you're gonna hear it one more time. So it's either the beginning date on the listing contract or the sign date, whichever is later of the two. If the beginning date was yesterday and the seller signs it today, today is the beginning date of the listing agreement, not yesterday. If the seller signs it today, but on the listing agreement, the beginning date is October 15th. That means October 15th will be the beginning date. So it's the later of the two. See, you guys are learning. This is, I'm glad we're doing this. We talk about it, but like, it's hard to retain. There's so much to retain. All right, what form is used when a buyer requests repairs from the seller? Which form? What's the name of the form?
Not on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah?
RRR form.
No. Request for repairs, yes. It's right there in the question.
Right.
Get a candy. So what form is used when buyer requests repairs from the seller? The request for repairs is the name of the form. And we talk about this when we're talking about the transactions. There's a request for repairs, and then the seller can either agree to it or say no, or or maybe agree to a partial repair or credit. All right, this was multiple choice. Your buyer decided not to do a physical inspection on the property. What form must they sign? The buyer you're representing says, I don't want to do an inspection. There's a form that you have to have them sign. What form is that? Anybody on Zoom? The buyer inspection waiver. You can use the buyer inspection waiver if your buyer does not want a physical inspection of the property. Also, if they don't want a termite inspection, we require that they sign that because it protects us. So they can't come back and say, well, you didn't tell me that I needed to do one. Well, you just signed this form that says that you're aware that we recommend it, but you're still, you know, you still don't want to get one, so. All right, buyer inspection waiver. Multiple choice. Who typically chooses the escrow company? The buyer? The seller? Negotiable depends on local custom, or the lender.
Negotiable.
Yeah, it's negotiable. You can hear. So it's not either or, it's typically the market will dictate. So if it's a seller's market, the seller's gonna pick. If it's a buyer's market, the buyer's gonna pick. But it's all negotiable, there's no like, nothing in stone that one or the other is gonna pay for it.
Oh, pay for it or pick?
Or pick or pick.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, pick or pay, sorry. All right. Here we go. What can the seller issue if the buyer fails to remove contingencies on time?
Ding, ding, ding. Notice to perform.
Yes. Notice to perform. You guys understand that? If the buyers, so I get to talk about this stuff too. All right, so during the transaction, and let's say they left the default period of 17 days to remove contingencies. If the buyer does not send in their removal of all contingencies by the 17th day, the seller can issue a notice to buyer to perform to remove all the contingencies. This is a way for the buyer, for the seller to get out of the contract if they want out. It gives the buyer 2 days thereafter to remove contingencies. And if they don't, the seller can cancel unilaterally on the 3rd day. So, does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So, and also, you cannot issue the notice of reform earlier than 2 days before the performance date. So if they said they're gonna remove contingencies on the 17th day, you cannot give a notice to perform any sooner than the 15th day. Otherwise, it's not valid. If they say they're gonna remove contingencies on in 10 days, then you can give it to them on the 8th day. Okay? All right. Now, we still have a lot of time, geez. I'll slow down on the questions. I just asked that question. What is the earliest you can issue a notice to perform? Anybody?
2 days before.
2 days before. All right, when is it allowed for the buyer's agent to contact the seller of a listing directly? Question. When is it allowed for a buyer's agent to contact the seller of a listing directly? Never? When the listing brokerage is not responsive? During the physical inspection? Or when the buyer decides to cancel?
B,
B? That's correct.
B.
That's correct. When the listing brokerage is not responsive. So typically, an agent cannot reach out to, let's see, the buyer's agent in a transaction, cannot reach out to the seller of the home directly. They have to communicate through their listing agent. That's like the, right? But if the listing agent and the brokerage is not responding, like, let's say you reach out to the listing agent with questions, or you submit an offer and they're not responding. And then you're not hearing back from 1 or 2 days, you can reach out to the broker and say, hey, I submitted an offer, I haven't heard back, can you please, see what's going on? If they don't respond, you can go directly to the seller, submit your offer, or ask any questions or whatever it is that maybe you're in a transaction. You're trying to communicate something, but the agent's not getting back to you. You can do that. When must you enter a listing into the MLS? A, no later than 2 days after the beginning date. B, no later than 1 day after the beginning date. C, immediately. Or D, whenever you're ready to. A is correct. No later than 2 days after the beginning date. You guys can just all grab the candies at this point. All right. Do you guys know why? It's the rules and regulations of the MLS. So you can have your listing start today, And you don't have to enter it to the MLS today, you can enter it tomorrow or the day after. So within 2 days after the beginning.
That means that you have to prepare all the pictures and things.
Yes, but that's why there's different, see, I'm glad that we're doing this. So that's why you either want to get, there's different ways of doing this. So you can either say the beginning date is gonna be next Thursday, and you have them sign it today. That gives you a whole week to do pictures and prepare and everything, right? So that when you enter into the MLS, you have everything you need. You can do it that way. But within that whole week, you don't have that listing because it begins next Thursday, another agent can come in with a buyer and say, hey, I have a buyer for your house. And then they can sell it and you don't get a commission
Because your beginning date is.
because your
next
beginning
week.
date is next Thursday. So unless it's like a family member or someone that you trust, you know, you could do that, post date the beginning of the listing. The other options, alternatives would be, you get the listing to begin today, they sign it today, but you don't begin marketing it until next Thursday. There's another section in the multiple listing advisory form that says, beginning marketing date shall be whatever next Thursday's date is. But then what you then have to do is you have to register the listing with the MLS the same day. Or I think it's same thing within 1 or 2 days. So what you do is you go into the MLS, there's a button that says register listing. You tell them I have a listing contract. I think it's beginning and ending date for it. And then that's it. You let them know you have a listing, but no one else sees it. And then come next Thursday, then you activate it. You enter the photos, add all the information, you submit it, and now everybody can see it. That's another way of doing it, yes.
So you want to get them to sign it and do the beginning date ASAP, and then maybe do the marketing date later, so you have time to get your pictures and all the stuff.
You can. Another option would be, see, there's all these options, right? The other option would be, put it in coming soon status. So you can have them sign it beginning today, put it in coming soon status, and that status does not last longer than 21 days.
You have to order your stuff.
So you can keep it in coming soon status for 21 days, and then it'll automatically switch over to active. But when it's in coming soon status, you can't show the property. You can market the property, and if you do market the property as coming soon, you have to include the date that it's coming soon, when it's coming.
Do you have to have all the pictures and all the?
No, you can have one picture in there, but it has to be of the property itself.
Okay, so then it's coming soon, but you don't have to put all the stuff in it, just so they know that it's coming,
Right.
but you're not ready.
Right, and then, yeah, so within this next week, you could take all your pictures, do everything you need to do. And then, but you're like, it's building up momentum, right, within that week, and people are like, oh, that's coming soon, we have to go see it, right?
Mhm.
And then, but if you show the property anytime between now and next Thursday, in that example, then you have to change it to active within 1 day.
Hey, Carlos,
Yes,
a little off topic, but is it that when you're incoming soon, Zillow can't see it? So really it's a benefit to the MLS?
I don't know if Zillow could see it or not. I know
'Cause I've
that
had,
other
I've
websites.
had- yeah, because I've had buyers clients say like, oh, I don't see that on Zillow. And I'll go look for it and I'm like, oh, interesting. So it's coming soon. So maybe, it's something that doesn't get syndicated until it actually goes live. So that's kind of a cool strength, if you can get in front of your buyers with coming soons.
Yeah.
Adds value.
Yes.
So if it's coming soon, will you get a lot of calls from other agents during that time, like calling, well, asking all these questions or not
You
ready to
could, you
answer
could, yeah.
yet? Because you're still preparing everything? Okay, because they see it.
And you can put a sign outside the property that says coming soon. So you have your regular for sale sign, but you have to have a sign right that says coming soon, and then with the date of when it's gonna go live.
Otherwise, everybody's gonna try to come in now. Can I see that?
Yeah. And Holden has a pretty cool sign. I don't know if he uses that for coming soon or for his open houses, but it's got like a whiteboard in the middle of the sign so he can write stuff. So you could say like if it's coming soon and then write the date in there and then use it multiple times for multiple properties. But that's a pretty cool idea. But so that's the three options that you either post date the beginning date, so example next week, and then you have to have it in the MLS by that date, and that's the beginning date. Or you can register it into the MLS and have it, the beginning date be today, and it's signed today. But the begin marketing date is next Thursday. So you're gonna register with the MLS, tell them, you're just telling them, hey, I have the listing. In case anyone else tries to come and say they have the listing, I have it first. So whoever had it first gets it, right? And then, but you have to go active by next Thursday.
So I have a question.
Yes,
This is started yesterday officially, so I kind of don't know well, but so let's suppose that we complete the listing agreement, okay? But we need to remodel and everything.
yes,
So let's suppose that the official listing date in the MLS will be in a month.
yes.
During that time, I need to prepare, but can I do the marketing in Instagram?
You cannot market the property if it's not active. Or
It's
if
not
it's,
active,
it has to be in coming soon or active status. If your beginning date is next month, and like,
Yeah, no,
You can't
how about
market it.
this? In Instagram, I wanna post coming soon picture.
if you have the coming soon form signed, it's an additional form.
Oh,
So you have your
different.
listing contract,
Yeah.
but there's an additional form, the coming soon form. And the coming soon form allows you to put it in coming soon for up to 21 days, no more than 21 days. So once you have that signed along with your listing agreement, you can put it in the MLS as coming soon. Just one picture of it while you're getting ready, taking other pictures, and
Yeah,
you can market the property on Instagram. But if you are gonna market it coming soon, you have to market the date that it's gonna be active as well. You can't just say coming soon. It has to be coming soon, November 15th,
um,
2025.
so. So you mentioned two different documents right now, so whenever we have a listing agreement, I also getting the consent.
No, you have to add that one in.
Oh,
And that is found in the form library for CRMLS, I believe. But the CAR forms, when you do the listing agreement, it comes with the multiple listing advisory and a few other forms in the packet. So the multiple listing advisory is where if you're gonna register it, you're gonna write in when the beginning marketing date's gotta be. And then when you guys are ready to do a listing agreement, like Carrie did just last week, you can sit down with me or Richard or John and we can go over it with you and make sure that we set you up the correct way. And make sure that you are doing what you're trying to do, right? Because sometimes we'll just be in such a hurry to sign it that we forget, oh, and don't forget that you can always write up an addendum or a modification of terms to the listing. If you mess something up, so you don't have to send the whole listing agreement, you can change the date to beginning date to be November 15th. Right, and that supersedes it. So any questions on that? Okay. True or false? In California, the buyer has the right to conduct inspections during the contingency period, even if the property is sold as is. True. Right. So a lot of the times, you're gonna see a listing where the listing agent, well, the seller tells the listing agent, I'm not gonna do any repairs. I want it sold as is, nothing, right? No repairs, nothing. So make sure you add as is so that everyone that comes through knows I'm not gonna pay for anything. But that doesn't mean the buyer can't do their inspection. Right? The buyer still has the right to inspect the property and then decide that they don't want it because there's too many things that needs to be repaired. But sometimes when the seller says that it's as is, and they're not gonna do anything, and the buyer comes through, they accept the offer, the buyer comes through, does their inspection, and then that doesn't mean you can't ask for repairs. Just because they initially said, I'm not gonna do anything, you can still ask for repairs. So, just because they said that doesn't mean you can't ask. Because it's either what, ask or cancel. I'm either gonna ask you so we can see if we can work something out, or I'm just gonna cancel and then you have to find another buyer. Okay. Which disclosure informs buyers about neighborhood factors like airport noise and industrial areas nearby?
Transfer disclosure.
No, it's multiple choice. Lead-based paint disclosure, seller property questionnaire, natural hazard disclosure, or local area disclosures? Yes, it's also known as the Orange County disclosures here in Orange County. Different counties have their own disclosures. Not all counties have them, but Orange County has that. It's Orange County disclosures. it talks about like, there's a prison nearby in Orange County, there's a power plant, there's airports, there's all these things, right? So they're pretty much disclosing all the things that are around that could be deemed a nuisance or whatever
What is nearby?
in the county.
People, what is like a
Airport.
mile radius? Like,
Well, within Orange County,
oh,
that's why it's Orange County disclosures, it's countywide.
oh,
Because the buyer moves in from out of state and then they realize, I didn't know there was an airport in this county or in this area. It's like, okay, it's in the Orange County
so
disclosure.
for Lake Forest, you'd say that John Wayne Airport is.
Well, the Orange, you just pull up Orange County disclosure, everything's in there.
I, see.
Yeah, with this form, you don't have to do anything, they just sign, it's already set up,
okay.
yeah. I think it's Orange County Realtors that sets that disclosure up, so it's already set up.
I filled out with-
You don't have to add anything to it.
What if it's outside Orange County, like Riverside or something?
Well, you have to see if those counties have local area disclosures. I know there's some areas in LA that have them, there's others that don't. There might be some areas in Riverside that have it, some areas that don't. I haven't seen any for Riverside yet. But I don't know, they might have some.
No additional, Carlos, for trains?
Trains,
Yeah,
yeah, so anything that can be deemed, I don't know, nuisance or just informational purposes. You want to know what you're getting yourself into when you buy a house, right?
Yep.
Train is definitely considered that. I used to live next to a train. Well, my older son was like really small, so in the morning, he'd be like, choo choo train. I'm like,
5 o'clock in the morning.
all right, which of the following is usually negotiable between buyer and seller in California? Escrow company, title, who pays for escrow and title fees, or all of the above? So again, which of the following is usually negotiable between buyer and seller in California? Escrow, title, who pays for escrow and title, or all of the above? All of the above, yes. So keep in mind that in the purchase agreement, there's a space for who pays for escrow, who pays for title, and then also what title company you want to use. So if I represent a buyer and my buyer wants to use a specific title company, I can write in the name of that title company with my offer and ask that the seller pay for it, so that I can check mark that the seller paid for it. And now that's negotiable. Now the seller could either agree to it or say, I'll pay for it, but I want to use a different escrow company or a title company or whatever. And so that's all negotiable, right? So all parties agree. True or false? The escrow officer represents the buyer during the transaction.
False,
Why?
they're supposed to be neutral.
Escrow is a neutral third party. They don't represent anybody. So sometimes buyers or sellers will call escrow and say, tell the seller this, that I'm not gonna pay for that. It's like, escrow's not gonna do that. That's not their job. Their job is to hold the money and get everything signed and do the deeds and send, all of that stuff that's not, how can I say this? That's your agent's job. Right, so you're a realtor, you guys are realtors, so your buyers have to go through you to negotiate with the other agent. Any terms or changes or anything like that, so keep that in mind. So tell your sellers, your buyers, don't call escrow if you want to change anything and negotiate, contact me directly. I'll write it up. We have it signed, all parties sign it, then we send it to escrow, they make the changes in the escrow instructions. And that makes, that binds it. All right. Which of the following is not required to be disclosed by the seller in California? A death on the property within the last 3 years, known plumbing issues, the seller's reason for moving, or pest infestations.
Seller's reason for moving.
Okay. So the seller has to disclose everything they know about the property, right? Any issues or any claims, insurance claims, anything like that. Any leaks, plumbing leaks, anything, just anything about the property. Maybe they know that the neighbors have really loud dogs and they're just barking all day long. They should disclose that too, right? But they don't have to disclose why they're moving. It's none of anybody's business why they're moving. All they have to do is disclose anything about the house itself. Any questions on that? What is the default length of the inspection contingency period in the California Resident Purchase Agreement unless modified? 7 days, 10 days, 17 days, or 21 days? Not anymore. Yeah, 17. It used to be 21. It used to be 17 days for inspection and 21 for loan. I think it was loan and appraisal. I'm not sure, but now everything's 17 days down.
Hmm.
Down everything. You remember that, Harriet?
I do.
So 17 days.
I remember when the purchase agreement was 2 pages.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the good old days, right?
Hey, you guys are not so lucky right now.
No.
There's
No.
so many forms. God, I remember back in the day, and God, I started this when I was 20 years old. I'm gonna be 49 this month. So I've been in this industry for 29 years. And I saw when the MLS system was just black and white DOS program, that you had to hit tab to go to the next field to say yes or no, or 2 bedrooms. And then go tab, square footage, 1,500, and then like tab, what city? And then you had, it was, back then it was cool because that's what you had, right? And then you hit print and it would print on a continuous paper, dot matrix printer. So you go go back and forth, and then you had to tear off your printouts. Yeah, that was a long time ago. They used to have a book too, right, Harriet?
Oh, the book. Yeah, when I was first started, there were no computers, there were no cell phones. And you just had the book.
Each office would get once a month, is that what it was?
Came out every 30 days. And you carried it around like your Bible. It was
Yeah.
like, I have the book.
That was the book of listings that were available.
Yep. Yep. And you drop your listings off in a box at the Woodbridge Association. They had a big wooden box and you'd go up the stairs and drop it in.
And that's what they would use to enter it into the book?
Yep. Yep. It was a different world, completely different.
Okay, what is the default length of the inspection contingency period? We just did that one, okay. True or false, the escrow officer is responsible for explaining the terms of the contract to the buyer and seller. Yes, false. And then I had this extra bonus question that it has nothing to do with real estate, but I just thought it was a cool question, a fun question. Do you guys remember the Tootsie Pops commercials?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, how many licks does it take to get to the center of Tootsie Pop, according to that commercial? Nobody knows? Nobody remembers that? I thought that was just funny, like, so it was an owl that came out and he was licking the lollipop. And he went 1, 2, 3, and then he bit it.
Oh, yeah.
So it was 3. Yeah, but I don't know, I think with everybody it's different, right? Because I'm not gonna lick a lollipop all the way through.
No.
I'm gonna bite it like after 2 licks. Yeah. But anyway, that's it. That's it. Did you guys learn?
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. And you guys got some candy? Do you guys have any questions? Nothing? Come on, you guys have to ask some questions.
Is it just end, or you want to kind of give us materials about this question and answer and why? Document?
Do you want me to send you the list of questions?
No, answer to
No,
why,
with the answers.
why it's like that.
I thought I answered.
Yeah, but
I'm
just give me my.
sending the recording. I'm gonna send out the recording.
Yeah, I have to watch it again, right?
Yes,
At the beginning,
yes.
but I kind of wanna like document that, like all the questions and answers, why, so.
All the questions and answers are gonna be answered when you come to the classes, because we go through all of that stuff. That's why I asked, most of these questions are from all the classes that we've had here. And we go through everything.
I see.
And I say it in a way that you're gonna be able to understand it, because I know like sometimes, and I'll edit this out hopefully later on, when Richard speaks, sometimes I'm like, what? What did he
That's the
say?
thing, that's the thing, like, for example, I mean, some questions here today was the one I studied for the real estate exam.
Yes,
So remember it, but regarding the older contracts, I feel like, oh my God, I'm doing this.
So we have a class once a month on the purchase agreement.
Uh-huh.
So what Richard does, he actually gives it, he sits down and he goes through every section of the purchase contract so that you feel comfortable with explaining it to your client and you know what to do with each section. And then after one of the classes, I'll give you guys homework and have you fill out a purchase agreement and send me an offer. The last time I did that, I had 2 people send me the listing agreement. We went over the listing agreement, right? Briefly, because it's not that difficult to fill out the listing agreement. But I gave out homework to email me your listing agreement. I'm the seller, so fill it out, send it to me to sign using, that's what it was. It was the zip forms class. And out of everybody in the class, it was just Joanna and Zach that sent me the listing agreement to sign. So I'm hoping that you guys, when we do that, you guys will participate because it helps you, because you're practicing, right? When are you gonna be able to practice to send it to somebody? You can practice sending it to me. And you're gonna practice filling out the forms, sending the form for me to sign. And I think once you have that down, that's already one aspect that you're good with. So I believe that in real estate, you have to know 3 things. Marketing to generate leads and get yourself known in the area that you're marketing, you're farming. 2 is know the MLS, know how to navigate the MLS, know how to email listings to the MLS, set someone up on automatic emails, make CMAs with the data in the MLS. The last thing is know the forms. Know how to use zip forms, know how to find the forms that you need, know what forms you need. We have a checklist, so there's no guessing there. We tell you what you need, know how to fill them out, and know how to do digital signatures with zip forms. So it's those 3 things: marketing, MLS, and zip forms. Right? The marketing will hopefully bring you business.
All the electronic form or contract.
They're fillable forms, yeah. Yeah, they're fillable forms. Yes.
Do you have to use the digital signatures?
No, you can fill out the forms, print them out, and then sit down with your client and have them sign it. If you already know what the terms are.
Because I know a lot of times, like, I'm just talking about those forms in general, like you'll sign something and then it zips down to the bottom and then you sign again, but you never really get a chance to look at what you're signing. Because it just kind of zips down to the signatures.
Right. So,
I haven't done that part yet.
yeah, when you send out a form for digital signatures to your client, it allows them to either just click and it takes them to the next signature that they have to click on. But they can go back, scroll back
Scroll
and
up
read
and
it,
read
yeah.
everything.
But what you want to do though, is when you send that to your client, make sure that you let them know, I'm gonna send you the listing contract or whatever contract disclosures for you to sign. Please contact me if you have any questions. If there's anything you want me to explain, I'll be happy to explain. Or like, there's one time where, and I told you guys this before, there was the only time I've had to do this, no, 2 times. We were submitting an offer for a duplex in the city of Orange, and husband and wife, and they just called me, showed them the property they want to submit. And I told them, this is how much the home is worth. They wanted to offer less because the listing price was like $200,000 less than what it should have been. But that's designed to bring a lot of offers.
Oh,
So I said, look, this is not priced right. If you submit 100,000 over, you're not gonna get it. No, we know what we're doing. Okay, just remember I said that. I sent them the purchase agreement and they called me, hey, can you explain this to us? Yeah, what part? All of it. And it's not like they hadn't signed a purchase agreement before. They wanted to know if I knew what I was doing before they signed it. So I went through and explained, this is what this is. Do you have any questions on that? No, this is what this is. Okay, and this is self-explanatory. Would you like me to explain it? No, keep going. I had to explain the whole contract. Then they signed it. And then they lost it to a cash buyer that offered $250,000 above asking price.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's what it was meant to do. Yeah.
So,
A bidding war.
so I'm not sure what next week's class is gonna be about, but thank you guys for participating.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you.